Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is Chief George Moghalu, National Auditor of the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party, who is in our Abuja studio. Chief George Moghalu, can you hear me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Thank you for your patience. Now, your party seems to be, your party, the APC, seems to be divided right down the middle on the issue of the leadership of the 9th National Assembly. What is responsible for this lack of unity within your party shortly after winning, election and gaining a majority in the National Assembly? And do you see the likelihood that, given this crisis within the party, that we could end up having, a repeat of what happened in 2015 in the National Assembly in terms of the selection of the leadership of that assembly?
Well, good morning, and thank you so very much for your question. But the truth here is that the party is not divided. We're certainly not divided. Our position is very clear. There's unity in the party. The position of the party is very clear as regards to what we want to achieve, what we expect. So the issue of division does not even arise.
Okay, but what about the issue of division regarding members of your party reportedly supporting some PDP aspirants? What about that? Because your party was criticized for being quite heavy-handed, particularly APC chairman Adams Oshiomhole was criticized for being heavy-handed in his comments or his instructions regarding the leadership of the National Assembly, of which he is not a member, which led to some elements in the National Assembly being even more determined to forge their own path, and that includes the possibility of PDP at the leadership. What are your comments on that?
The possibility does not even arise at all. And I can tell you that we are a disciplined party, a disciplined organization. I'm not aware, you rightly started by saying that it's a speculation that some of our members are supporting or intending to support the candidate outside our party, and I don't think that is true. One thing I know about the APC is that we're a united party. Our members are loyal party members, and their commitment to the party is very clear. As to whether we are going to come out tops, certainly I can assure you that all things will be well at the end of the day.
Well, when you say your party is not divided, I mean, that's not what we see on this side. And maybe, we need to define what we call a divided party in this instance. For the leadership of the National Assembly, the party, your party, has said Ahmed Lawan is the anointed man for, Senate presidency. And then in the House of Reps, your party has also anointed Femi Gbajabiamila. But there are persons within the party, like Aline Dume, for example, like Danjuma Goje, for example, who are saying that, look, nobody can stop them from running for these same positions. And there are also, party members who have been arguing over zoning formula for either deputy Senate presidency or deputy speakership or the other principal positions. Now, how is the party managing that other than just dictating to people? And do you think that the party position will be supreme on June 10, June 11, when the National Assembly convenes?
Yes, you must understand one basic fact. The point is that the party has a wish, the party has a desire. The party has expressed a wish to have, like you rightly said, Senator Ahmed Lawan emerge as Senate President. That does not in any way foreclose the ambition of any other member of the party. But what this requires is for us to further consult. It requires for us to bring all the facts on the table for everybody to look at it and be able to agree. Nobody is muzzling anybody that it must be this. But what they're trying to say is they want to create an enabling environment for an effective executive and legislative relationship. That is what we are trying to do. As a party, we are entitled to have interest. As a party, we need to look at a situation where the promises we made in the course of our campaign, the promises made by our candidate then, the president-elect now, has to be fulfilled. And for us to achieve this, there must be synergy. We are working towards achieving that. And one thing you must understand, we're in a democracy. People's ambition cannot be foreclosed by fiat. So you need to convince them, you need to talk with them. And that is why the process of negotiation and consultation is still ongoing. And it will continue until the eve, in fact, practically until the morning of the election. So you keep talking people, you talk them out, you make offers, you shift grounds, you discuss, so that at the end of the day, we come out stronger than we are when we are entering into the race. But I am confident, speaking with every trust and confidence in God, that at the end of the day, we're going to come out tops. We won't have the experience of 2015 replay itself again.
Well, it is good that you acknowledge that there are dissenting voices despite the party's position, even though you say the party is not divided. But let's look at something else. Although it is the prerogative of the president to appoint ministers, it is also common practice for the party to be involved, to have a say. But so far, it will seem as if the president is doing all of this by himself and the party is in the dark.
I think you are more or less speculating. You started well by saying that it is the prerogative of the president to appoint his ministers. And that fact has not changed. And it still remains his prerogative. It is at his choice to consult the party. It's at his choice to consult the party. So the issue about the ministerial position is an exclusive preserve of Mr. President.
So has he consulted the party?
I'm not aware of that.
Well, let me rephrase.
It may not be at my level.
Let me rephrase that. You know, the issue about the party and the party's interest in the cabinet is that, you know, a few weeks ago, the papers reported that the party, the APC, has said that those who will make the president's cabinet will be persons who are loyal to the party. Apparently, you know, the APC places much premium on loyalty. But how do you define loyalty? You know, and why should that be a criterion for, you know, the composition of a new cabinet by President Buhari?
The fact is that you started by saying that you read it in the papers. Probably maybe one of these speculative journalism.
No, this is not speculative.
Was that statement credited to anybody? Was it credited to who?
Well,
it's important because you must understand that
it was credited to the
party is like a church or a mosque.
No, it was credited to the National Working Committee. And we had Larry Issa Onilu on this
National Working Committee. I have not.
We had Larry Issa Onilu.
Nobody can credit that because we haven't discussed it.
Okay, but
fortunately, I happen to be a member of the National Working Committee, and the issue has not come up for us to discussion.
Okay, but you know, what, in your opinion, what kind of cabinet would you like to see, and what kind of role will you expect the party to play in this regard?
I want to have for my wish. The important thing here is the Nigerian people, and our presidential candidate then, who is the president-elect today and the incumbent president, made promises. We as a party, we have a manifesto. My take is that any cabinet that will be put in place, a cabinet that shares the same vision and commitment with Mr. President, so that the promises made can be fulfilled. Cabinet that is purpose-driven. So for me, and I am confident that the president knows who will help him achieve his objective, which is to serve the Nigerian people, which he has repeatedly smarted, both in the course of the campaign, both in the course of his leadership of this country, and even in recent times. His commitment as to serving the Nigerian people is unparalleled. So I am confident, too, that he's going to, in choosing his cabinet, that will also play a key role on who he will engage to work with him to actualize those objectives.
You're also the national auditor, so please put that hat on for a minute. INEC has recently reiterated their determination to actually enforce Section 91 of the Electoral Act and Section 225 of the Constitution, which deals with campaign finances, assets and liabilities of political parties, restrictions on political donations, and what have you. Has APC made any submissions to INEC, and have they rated your adherence? Because you'll recall, INEC placed a ceiling of 1 billion naira for presidential campaigns, funds. For governorship is 200 million, senatorial election campaigns 40 million, and House of Reps 20 million. Have you been rated yet?
Fortunately, I was the national auditor of the party in the last administration, and now still the national auditor. The truth about it is that INEC, as a supervising authority, usually sends external auditors to come and audit the books of the political parties, APC inclusive. And this issue of campaign funding has been a recurring decimal. Everybody has been speaking about it, and I think it's a good thing because we need to, whatever way we can achieve it, bring down the cost of electioneering so that every other person can be free, can be encouraged to express his or her ambition. It provides us a enabling environment for more people, more credible people, more determined, more committed people to get involved. So INEC has the power to investigate the books of political parties, and they usually do that. Every year they send teams to investigate and look at the accounts of the party by way of external auditors, and they are well received. We have been having them do that repeatedly, and I'm sure they're going to do that again this year. So for us as a party, we're very conscious of this fact, and we're doing everything to ensure that we don't fall foul of any law as put in place by INEC or even any other supervising authority. We are concerned. We are desirous of having a situation where we'll bring down electioneering costs to the barest minimum so that it provides a greater room for greater participation.
Okay, well, can you give us an idea of how much your party spent on the last presidential election? And then,
no, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, you have not taken...
I wouldn't be able to do that. Why?
You have not looked at the finances yet.
I wouldn't be able to do that because... No. I wouldn't be able to do that because, one, the Presidential Campaign Council is a body that ran the campaign. So at the end of the day, they're going to send their report to the National Working Committee, and then we're going to add it to our books, depending on to the extent of our involvement. So, but I know that we are conscious of the limits as provided by law, and we are working within it.
Okay, two quick related questions. Just yesterday, Hope Democratic Party is asking the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal to stop the swearing in of President Muhammadu Buhari, saying that there's a question of validity on the mandate on which he's coming into power with. Is the APC perturbed with this development? What is your reaction to it? And on the second hand, the PDP is asking for the chairman of the Petitions Tribunal to recuse herself on grounds of conflicts of interest and moral burden. How does the party respond to this?
For me, I think it's an unnecessary distraction. However, it's a case that is before a court of competent jurisdiction. Therefore, speaking about it may be what the lawyers call sub judice. So I may not want to comment on it, but thank God they've gone to court. They've gone to the tribunal. The tribunal will look at the merit and the merits of their matter and be able to give put in place their position. As to whether asking somebody to recuse herself because a relation of hers is a member of the APC, for me that is unnecessary. Because if you look at it in proper perspective, in the other party there are people who are related to people holding responsible positions in government. Should they also recuse themselves? And they have been adjudicating on matters that relate to political parties. I think we politicians must. There's an extent to which we can play politics. There's a point where you stop because you're creating unnecessary distraction, trying to overheat the polity unnecessarily. But however, like I've always said, you allow the people to talk, you allow the judiciary process to take place. Every matter, I believe, and confidently too, that every matter will be treated on its merit. Once it has to do with the judiciary will look at it, and if there's merit in it, they will address it. If there's no merit, they will throw it away.
Well, Chief Judge Moghalu, just one more question before we bring this to a close. You've been privileged to work with the former chairman of the APC, Chief John Odige Oyegun, and we are also now working with Comrade Adams Oshiomhole. How will you compare the two gentlemen in terms of style, leadership style, in terms of approach, knowing them very well?
No, it's not right to compare two gentlemen. The point here is that two of them are two different individuals, two different people, style in everything, people who have different ways of addressing issues. The important thing is that are they both successful at the job they are doing? And in my assessment, I think they are both qualified, they are both successful to the extent they have done what they are doing and what they like to do. So for me, there's no room for comparison, trying to bring Mr. A and compare with Mr. B. Because how do you start the comparison? Is it going to be in their height or in their color or in their complexion or in their ability to do their work. The important thing here is that both of them do their work, and that's what is happening now. Adams Oshiomhole has his style. The important thing is that if you are looking for 10, it is not a matter of there's a fixed way of arriving at 10. You can add 1 + 1 + 1 into 10, you get to 10. You can also add 5 + 5 and get 10. So Oshiomhole has his way of doing his things. So Oyegu has his way of doing his things. The important thing is that at the end of the day, what answer do you get? And for me, by my assessment, having worked with the two people, I think they are both doing well.
Well, thank you very much for that very diplomatic response. I like that. We have enjoyed having this conversation with you very much, Chief George Moghalu, National Auditor of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you very much.